high level, separating the DeFi protocols. If you go high level, it really is only two types. You got types that try to emulate Bitcoin, which means inherently they actually have no value because there's only one Bitcoin. And then you have others like Ethereum, in which you can create products and apps. And as he said, you can carry out tokenization essentially and things of that such. Although you can do the same thing on Bitcoin, it just isn't the most efficient. And it probably will get there one day, but I don't count on it just because that comes with a swath of developers making the shift to the Bitcoin protocol to enhance it. So I slightly agree with that. You already know how I feel about Bitcoin's value. There really isn't any value outside of it being Bitcoin. I know someone else is going to buy it for me. And I think that in terms of currency debasement, it makes a great hedge like gold. But outside of that, like every other use case that I've ever heard doesn't work. You could pretty much do anything on the Bitcoin protocol, but that doesn't mean it's going to work. So like even with the whole ordinals, like even the amount that was like ordinal season. Think about how little attention ordinals got. I'm just saying. And so you're not going to see, you could do anything, but it doesn't mean it's going to work. Simple as that. And that's kind of what Bitcoin is. Bitcoin has value from everything we said, you know, in the Michael Saylor video, in terms of every project that has been built after Bitcoin has been built with Bitcoin in mind. And the store value / digital gold aspect alone should be enough to convince someone, okay, this is a great asset. But outside of that, you just be confusing yourself because there are so many other products that accomplish probably what you want to accomplish better than Bitcoin inside of the crypto space. Yeah, that's my take on it.
I think Bitcoin has a lot of use cases that people don't really take into account, such as like most of them I already said, being able to send to and from securely. It's an asset, it's a network, and a protocol. It's the first time we had digital scarcity, so it's scarce. That in and of itself is a use case, and that makes it hold its value good. Because like, who's to say that I can go in my backyard and dig a hole and find a bunch of gold, and the stock to flow ratio will be all messed up on gold. Gold has a 2%.
Nobody about to find no gold. Nobody about to find no gold in their backyard.
It's an analogy, but in some mountain somewhere, you never know.
We hiked a lot of mountains, bro. Have we ever saw some gold?
You never know. It's also portable. If regulations changes or the tax code changes on real estate or stocks, you can't send stocks, you can't send bonds. You can send your Bitcoin anywhere, and you can be subject to whatever regulation you want. It's easy to self-custody. We talked about that more in our ETF video, so you guys feel free to watch that. But basically, banks existed because people didn't want to hold gold because it was risky. But Bitcoin, you can have $10 million in your pocket, no one knows. And it's also expensive to produce with the mining. So that gives it tangible value, because just like you have to exude a lot of resources to mine gold, you know, a gold mine, pay workers, shovels, gloves, dump trucks, all that. Same thing running a Bitcoin mine. You have to buy fans and rigs and higher security and all these things. So yeah, I think Bitcoin's more valuable than some people give it credit for, but that's just me.
Look, that use case that basically in the event that there's a dystopia, we still have our Bitcoin. Okay, guys, remember that we are not in a dystopia. It probably won't happen in our lifetimes. So that's still like not even a theoretical use case, but something that we don't really have to worry about. We don't live in Argentina, guys. We live in America. So that's one of those use cases where it's like, yeah, okay, that's true. But what does that mean for right now? You know? That's the last thing I'll say on that. That's the last thing I would say. But we agree that overall Bitcoin is like 100%. It's a great asset for one. We understand at least that it's a store value. We're on the same page on that. It's just little nuances. I guess I like to look at it more right now. And I think a lot of the arguments are more in the future of Bitcoin, which I understand. But right now, and even in the next 20 years, you never know, man. The latest innovation that we're going to see in the next 10 years will probably be a Bitcoin ETF. Think about how crazy that sounds. I think with these ETFs, we've actually limited the growth of Bitcoin, actually, thinking about it.
Kind of, because now you can do like fractional reserve custody. But it's at your own peril, because they know that people aren't just going to come pull out gold because it's heavy. You know, you got to bring a truck if you got a lot. But Bitcoin, you don't have to go anywhere. You just go on your phone and withdraw it. So I don't think they would be, I don't think it's going to be as shitty as a gold ETF, because they know like, yo, people can pull this out any moment. And we can't, like, back when it was runs on the banks before like digital society, people would, and we talked about this in our Creature from Jekyll Island book review, but banks would ship gold to different banks and they would put it on pallets and they would cover the top and it would be showing gold, but under it, it was bricks. So it made it look like they had a bunch of gold. They can't do that same thing with Bitcoin. So I'll be interested to see how much more responsible they are. But these bankers are greedy, so they could just say fuck it because they know it's no consequences. So we'll see.